and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Saturday the 13th of January. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. We've reached the weekend, the last official day of the channel week, and we can already say it's been a profitable week. Win, lose or draw on Saturday. We've got ourselves to a nice little margin so far. So successful day on Friday. We're going to go through the review of that. Before I do, heads up for Saturday. I was sort of trailing the fact that Saturday's not as good as Friday, apart from there's a couple of really obvious, decent, quality, exciting handicaps on the television. And I thought going into Saturday, I'd probably have a big combo double between those two races and see what other bits and bobs there is. But I've hit enough to hit the criteria for the channel that's making it a little bit on the voluminous side. So not quite Friday. Friday was £33, but Saturday is £30, stake and a half. It is 5 bets, mainly on the jumps. So we've got an each way Yankee on the jumps, an each way Canadian on the jumps, a win Trixie, combination double across the two best races, and we have got a little all-weather saver bet, 2 Chelmsford, 2 Wolverhampton in the evening. So that is what is coming up. I'll also be reminding you it is Tipster League day because we are into Saturday's racing, and we'll get to that and give you a bit of a rundown. I'll also do a mention on the golf. Just before I do the review for Friday, I just want to do a quick. I always say quick. I'm sure lots of people just start chuckling to themselves who've been on the channel a long time because it's never quite quick, is it? But just a kind of a quick recap of kind of what the channel's about. Just I'm conscious there's been a little bit of a spike of subscriberships. So I don't know if that's long time viewers just suddenly pressing the button or whether that's new folk dropping in. But yeah, the best way to find out about the channel is read the about page, read in the description. It can give you lots more details in there as well. But we are just over 2 years old on the channel. It started out as a bit of a, will anybody be interested in what I've got to offer, because it sort of goes against conventional wisdom. And thus far, I found a nice, lovely bunch of people who seem to be reasonably interested in what I'm doing. So yeah, not conventional wisdom, because I wouldn't call myself a horse racing tipster. I put out a staking plan each day. If you want a tip for a race, I'm not going to give you a tip. A tip is which horse is the one that's going to win. Most people think they've got tips when they actually haven't. I would give you selections that I think have got the greatest value in any given race. So the difference between what the price should be and the price I perceive it to be. Sorry, difference between what the price is and the price I perceive it to be. The price could be 50 to 1. I think the horse should be 16 to 1. Therefore, there's 34 points difference between 16 and 50. That would be a value bet in my eyes. So that is what I'm aiming to do. Now, most people, if you want tips, as I said, you would go normally, people would offer you like a horse in each race, or they might offer you a couple for the day, or they might give you their bet of the day. What I do on this channel that is different is I offer a staking plan. So a full plan for the day. It doesn't involve every race, but it does involve a volume of horses. Conventional wisdom says if you do that kind of thing, you're going to be hard pushed to make any money, because really all you should be doing is backing the best couple of horses a day. So far, the history of the channel has demonstrated there is profitability in following the channel. We have a kind of set criteria that says the price is at least 3 bookmakers need to be offering the price, major bookmakers need to offer the price at the time of me making the video, and at least 3 major bookies need to be paying the extra place terms at the time of the race in order for me to claim it for the channel stats. That's how we've recorded it from September. The history of the channel was using a Sky Bet account. The channel went through a few Sky Bet accounts, and most people following for a long time went through Sky Bet accounts. It became challenging. So Sky Bet is still is, and always has been, the recommended bookmaker to get the most return for the bets that I'm placing. But there are a lot of long-term followers that can't use Sky Bet account because Sky Bet have restricted them. So if you've still got a Sky Bet and you've been going on for a long time, well done to you, because it's quite hard to achieve that. There's only a certain amount of money, and everyone who's been here a long time knows this, but only a certain amount of time you can place bets and place value-based bets before ultimately you will get restricted on your account, and you'll get an email that tells you that no longer are you able to do the same things you used to be able to do. So yeah, if you're out there, if you ever trying to spot somebody who's a bit of a dodgy dealing, if they're telling you they're a professional gambler and then they're also telling you what they did with their Sky Bet £5 bet or whatever, free bet, whatever it is. Unless they happen to be turning over a lot of Sky Bet accounts on the sly with various family members and friends, I would suggest to you that they would not be of such an ilk. So there we go. People are welcome to share their own thoughts and selections in the comments. They're also welcome to feedback to the channel. It's really nice if you like the channel. Likewise, if you don't like the channel, then you can also express that or dislike it. I prefer it if people like it, but not everyone's going to be a fan, are they? Do you know what I mean? Not everybody goes for the orange cream in the Quality Street like I do. Some people would press the dislike button on the orange cream. I'm not quite sure I'm describing myself as an orange cream on Quality Street, but that's just the analogy that popped in my head. There's some all sorts of weird stuff's been in my head today. I've been literally Backstreet Boys for some reason has been stuck in my head. I've got no idea why. I haven't had any music on all day, but yeah, that's what keeps. I mean, yeah, if the tips, the selection plan all goes to rubbish, I think it's the Backstreet Boys to blame because they're the ones that have been bubbling in my head and distracting me. Anyway, slight digression, as there often is. So that is what the channel is about. It should be a chilled channel. We're not here to try and the aim is not to make people millionaires. However, if we do happen to hit a Bahamas day, which is a bet that's everybody would get in the region of £5,000 for, then no one's going to complain, are they? The way that I stake and I bet, the idea is that over a long period of time, you make a profit and you make a certain margin, but you always have the chance that one of these days you're going to land a Bahamas bet. And if you've followed the channel long enough, there's been plenty of evidence that suggests it is possible to get big prize winners together on the same day. Trying to get them on the same day in the same bet with a decent stake, that's the ultimate holy grail. Because if one of those happens and suddenly, lo and behold, you make a few £1,000s, that's what I would call a year maker bet. So that would make the year. So you have to be pretty hard going to lose if you land one of those in the space of a calendar year. Anyway, that is what the channel is. We only do videos 4 days a week, regular videos and bonus videos on the other day. So regular video days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and sometimes Friday night, sometimes Saturday morning, whichever way it is. We cover racing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Bonus vids on the other days. The other days I don't do the videos. I usually write some sort of comment in the description of the last video, in the last video, just to give people a bit of a feel. It might have some selections in there. It might just give you some sort of note about the day. Right, I'll get moving. Okay, so review of Friday. 33 on, it was 58.50 back. We had one good bet, the rest was tosh. So bet one, second, that was poor, that was third, and that was second with a non-runner. So nice bet to land. It got us profit by whatever, 3:15, and luckily for that, because nothing else went really close at all on the channel. So we had three nice places together there. Returned a nice profit for the day, and then that was it. So we had It Was Fate going on to those, and they weren't good. Maydan was off the boil. I was off the boil at Maydan today, definitely. So no good then. I mean, none of those runs ran well at all. They were all five horses were poor on that bet three, and then bet four. Up with the pace, faded, maybe one to keep an eye on. Didn't look like it was too interested. They weren't any good, and Fahari stayed on late, but I think it was sixth. That was about as exciting as that got. So where we are, we're walking into Saturday, £59 up for the week and for the year. 30 going on. So worst case scenario, we'll still end the week and the year 29 to the good, which is a very nice place to be, considering last year we started on 5 losing weeks in a row, I think. So 2024 has been a little bit on the kinder side. Okay, here's the plan for Saturday. We're starting early in the 12:40 at Totterdown. No, Totterdown, 12:40 at Warwick. I'm not going the first race at Warwick because there's a match race, 2 horses. Not interested in that. But the 12:40 second race at Warwick, Totterdown 16-1. We've got a couple of ageing horses in that race, in that bet. Oh dear, losing words now. Then we're going to go 2:42 Kempton. So we've got 2 in the Lanzarote. JJ Riley. I'll come back and do a little bit more of a word on that. JJ Riley 33s. 3 o'clock Warwick. That's a really good race for a bet. Really competitive, but also very, very hard to read. I think you could argue a case for lots of different horses in that race. Broken Halo's the one at the price for me. I think Lorcan is in really, really good form the last couple of weeks. He's banged in some great... In terms of actually, you just look at like the last 2 weeks win percentage is amazing. It has been on some shorter prices though, but in really good form. So that was the one that edged at the prices, but I think you could argue a case for half a dozen at double figure prices in that race. It's quite tricky. And then the 3:35 Warwick, the Veterans Chase Cyclop at 25-1, 20p each way Yankee and 50p each way singles. Generally speaking, the bets are quite straightforward. I've got 5 bets, but they are mostly straightforward. There's not extra doubles. So it's 8.40 is the stake. Bookie advice is a bit funky on Saturday, as we said. So Sky have come out slightly ahead. Then Paddy are second best. But they're the same place terms as Hills 888 and Betfair. So Hills and 888 are continuing to be good bookies at the moment. For extra place terms, not necessarily functionality 888. If you could sort out your app, that'd be great, because it's an absolute pain in the. Well, I say that, I mean, I'm restricted on there anyway, but I'm speaking for other people. So there we go. Right, then 365 next best, then Unibet and Betway. So that is the bet for those. That's sort of main 4-ish, I would say. Then I've ummed and ahed about the Win Trixie. We're definitely due a Win Trixie. We've really had a run of poor ones. So I'm only going to tend to do it on a Saturday, but I was happy enough with these. You've got the 110 Whetherby, Trelawney. I think that one is not... That and the odds-on favourite, there's not much between them, and I think the betting market's got that a bit wrong. So we'll see how that goes. The 115 Warwick Diamond Rye, or whatever, Rye we'll go with. 5-4. I could have just put the 2 of them in a double and left that one out, but I would have it odds on, so I put it in. And then 207 Kempton Pictory, 11-4. I absolutely hands down would have that favourite, something like 6-4, 11-8. So I know it's a good quality race, and there's only a few horses in it, but it's definitely got the best form. 11-4 Pictory, 50p Win Trixie, so it's 50p win doubles and a treble, makes it £2. There's no singles. You want a best price guaranteed paying bookie, so something like Paddy 365 Coral Ladbrokes to get the best possible chance of the best return on that one. That's bet 2. Then we've got our Canadian. There's some good prices, but there's not huge margin. So I've been operating this week on some nice prices where I would say there was some really good margin. The prices are similar-ish to some of the stuff I've been going with, but I think the margin is a little bit less. I.e. the difference between what I think the price should be from what it is smaller than some I've put out this week. But 140 Whetherby, line in the sand at 18s. 157 Fairy House, it's the only Irish one I've gone for. Grey Diamond, 16s. It's the second run for Gordon Elliott. I expect it to do a little bit better than the first run. 242 Kempton Hamino AA 22 or Hamino AA. 335 Warwick Bouldermere 25, and then finishing off in the bumper at Whetherby, 357 Whetherby, move on by 20s. Just to watch on that one, if you're doing singles, Paddy look like the only bookie paying 4 on that one, which is quite handy. 10p each way Canadian, and then 50p each way singles on all 5. Sky come out best, Paddy second best, then 888 and Hills, and then technically it's 365, but I blumped them in with Betfred, Unibet and Betway not to make it too complicated. That's that. Then the combo double between the main 2 races. So we've got the 242, the Lanzarote at Kempton. yeah, I looked through that race and I thought I was going to have a few more. So Sky are 7 on there. There's quite a few bookies paying 6. So try and find a bookie paying 6 at least if you haven't got a Sky account. But JJ Riley's edged it for me. Skelton normally does all right in the race. He won it last year, but he usually aims one, and he's usually got Bridget Andrews to ride, but she's out at the moment. So Tristan Durrell's on it, because often when you've got this weekend where Kempton and Warwick clash, he sends Harry to race at Warwick. So then he's got second choice jockey in for the Lanzarote, but usually does all right. I think this horse, my read of the form for the horse is, I think it's being kept back to run in a decent quality hurdle. So I think there's a little bit of aiming going on here. It progressed quite quickly as a hurdle and then went quickly into chases, and it's got a slightly higher chase rating mark, JJ Riley. It's versatile on the ground and it has got experience of the course. But yeah, I think they could have kicked it on in handicaps. And I think they've just waited to find a decent pot to give it a bit of a try. So JJ Riley's in, and then Hamino AA is my second choice, 22s. Then in the 335, the Veterans Chase at Warwick, and a watch on that one. Most bookies are 5. I think Unibet are the standout. Unibet are 6, I think, on that one, but they're only 5 on that one. So the best bookies are 6 and 5. You've got Sky 7 and 5. But you've got Unibet 5 and 6, so it does get a little confusing. But I've got Cyclops slightly edged it between the two, so there's not much between those two. I'm forgiving Cyclops the run at Chepstow, and if you go back through, because it's 13, I know it's a Veterans Chase, right? They're all older horses, but because it's 13, it will have a slight negative against it in the market, which I'm trying to take advantage of because it should be shorter in my view. So Cyclops 25. Boldmere 25, 4 times 25p each way doubles. It's £2 bet. Sky are the best bookie. Paddy or 365 are joint second best because you'll get your 6 and 5 and you'll get best price guaranteed. And then Hills 888, Betfair and Betway, and then Unibet. It's £2 you bet. And then finishing, if it's all gone terribly wrong in the jumps, and to be fair, the jumps is what's holding me up. As in done us well so far this year. So the back end of 2023, it was all about the all-weather. I was hitting all sorts of lovely stuff on the all-weather, but the jump stuff wasn't quite working. And whereas how we've got on so far in 2024, the best bets have been the jumps bets. So there's been a few shorter price winners on the all-weather, but the jumps bets have done us best. And certainly that was the case on Friday. It was five jump horses and 3 placed, and 10 on the flat, and nothing was that near. So the saver bet here is this: 5:45 Chelmsford Pop Dancer, only a 6-runner race, but that's a good price at 10s. 6 o'clock Wolverhampton Succulus 16s. It's already coming in. I think it will still get shorter. 16s. 6:45 Chelmsford Media Guest at 8, stepping up in distance, and then the 8:30 Wolverhampton Nadia 25 to 1. I mean, it's got basement mark, but it's not been far away on the last few runs, and I think it's worth having in at 25s. But you know, Wolverhampton's not my friend, but Nadia 25s. It's a 20p each way Yankee. We've got 50p each way singles on the 2 Wolverhampton at the bigger prices, Succulus and Nadia, and 2 50p win singles on the Chelmsford pair, Pop Dancer and Media Guest. 740 is the bet. Sky and 888 are joint best on this one. Paddy are third best. Hills are fourth best. Paddy and Hills are the same place terms. Paddy will get the bog in the morning. But yeah, Sky and 888 got the same place terms on these. So they've come out best. 740, that's it. So that's £30 is the stake. In the golf, not brilliant really. We've got Buckley and Ben. Bob changed his name. Hayden Buckley and Ben Taylor, who are going to miss the cut by the look of it, and that leaves us with the other 3 that were okay after round 1, but now the leaderboard's moved on in round 2, and they, at the time of making this video, they're about to tee off. So we've got Echeverry, Nick Taylor, and Andrew Putnam, I think. Is it Andrew Putnam? I think Andrew Putnam. So we want at least one of them to push on up the leaderboard. Right now they're sort of middle for diddle, but yeah, a few birdies along the way, and they'll start moving up a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on the golf, but yeah, we're not out of it yet. But there's nothing to get particularly excited about in that. And then lastly, Tips the League. So Tips League, second week of Tips League is on. We've got Mike Fletcher top of the leaderboard after week 1. There is 8 races on ITV Racing. So heads up, if you've not been in the Tips the League, I mean, to be fair, if you've not been in the Tips League, not paying attention, you wouldn't have got to the end of the video. But I'll say the bits anyway. All right. If you want to enter the Tips the League, the only way that is valid is there is a Tips the League comment on this video. You need to reply to the comment, not just regularly in the comments. To enter the Tips the League, you need to reply to the comment. Please read that comment because it gives you all of the T's and C's about how to enter. Bearing in mind it's a free, fun competition where there's no prize available other than glory. But it has to be an ITV Racing race, otherwise it will count as an invalid bet. It's a little bit tricky on this one because you've got an early race at Whetherby on ITV Racing, and then you've got 3 at Kempton and 4 at Warwick. You have to enter by 2 o'clock, so there are races that happen before 2 o'clock. You are not allowed to edit your entry. Once you put it on there, if you need to make a change, delete it and repost it. Editing counts as an invalid bet. Maximum of 3 selections. 10 point is your stake. Split between them. No accumulators, no decimal points. And it would really, really help me and Stephen if you followed the little descriptor at the bottom of the comment that basically says how to write it out. Time, race, horse, stake. It's not particularly complicated, but most people seem to fall foul of this. And it just means it's easier to add it up at the end of the day. So help us out. If you like the competition and you want to play, help us out by just writing it nice and clearly. Time, meeting, horse, stake. The price that you get is the SP price at the end. So you don't need to write the price. And the place terms, or whatever Sky Bet's place terms are, that's how we count them as winners or losers. So yeah, so you can't be on you can be on a price crasher, but you only get the price at the starting price. All right. Hopefully that is clear. So yeah, feel free to enter the Tips the League, and that's it. I'm not expecting, looking at Sunday's racing, to do anything bonusy video. So current plan is I'll be back Tuesday night next week, and we're only a couple of weeks away now from Dundalk meetup. So a reminder on that one. It's really hard to tell. I didn't know when I went to Kempton before how many people are going to come. There's a few people that sort of mentioned that they're going to come, and there's some, a couple of people have reached out to me very kindly and offered me stuff like picking me up from the airport and that kind of stuff. So people have been very, very lovely about it. But yeah, literally you can turn up, bring yourself. You don't necessarily have to tell me you're going to be there. I've never been to Dundalk, so I'm not going to say there's a meeting point, but I'll be one of the people walking around Dundalk with a flat cap on. Not being at Dundalk, I'm not imagining it's a ridiculously huge place. And by the time a couple of people have found me, then suddenly I'll be walking around with a flat cap with a small group of other people. That's how it's going to be. So yeah, there's not a defined meeting point, and there's not a defined time. I'm aiming to get there before the first race. All right, that's me. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you're choosing to do, and I shall see you, in theory, Tuesday night. That's it. Bye-bye.